Hi everyone! Last week I posted a video on recruitment with AI, specifically candidate screening. Today is second series of how AI can find and cherry pick the best candidates for you from LinkedIn. Whether you're an HR professional, a recruiter, or a business leader, these insights will help you make smarter, faster hiring decisions while improving the quality of your talent pool. In this video, I'm showing you a revolutionary headhunting strategy where AI scrapes LinkedIn data, analyzes candidate backgrounds, education, and certification, and even scores strengths, weaknesses based on your job description. By the end of this video, you will see exactly how this game-changing AI model can cut your recruitment time in half while delivering the best fit candidates right to your inbox. And trust me, the way AI ranks candidates will make you rethink everything you know about hiring. Let's start. Alright, for this example, we're going to be using sample job description that is looking for a human resource assistant. It has kind of a general structure, specific responsibilities, skills we're looking for, and qualifications. Nothing really special. We're going to be using make.com for automating the whole process. And the idea of this process is the following. First of all, we're going to access our Apify account and we're going to run an actor that's going to scrape the information by a certain query for all the candidates that can be applicable to our position. Then it's gonna get the dataset items and send those items to ChatGPT. So there are 3 blocks for ChatGPT, and essentially the first block is gonna transform the data to structured data so that we can use it later for our ChatGPT prompt. Then we're gonna use message an assistant, and we have a pre-created assistant in our OpenAI playground. They have certain instruction and sample job description provided. And then this data that our GDP assistant is gonna create, we're gonna parse it to then later on output those files in Excel. In an Excel, we can do certain analysis. We can see what are the candidates, how well they fit. And basically what you can see here, this is the Excel with 44 candidates that I found. It has many people here, and it gives them a score. And essentially what I can do after my automation, I can sort from largest to small. So I can see, okay, this candidate fits the most to my position. And the prompt is advanced that it takes into account even if the candidate is overqualified for the position. We can have like a brief summary, scoring, strength, weaknesses, risks, opportunities, description of experience, education, and languages person speaks, right? And if we think that, okay, this candidate is good, and if I'm a headhunter or a business leader that want to find the right fit for my position, what I'm gonna start messaging that person, right? I'm gonna try to offer better terms. I'm gonna try to negotiate if maybe person is willing to switch the job, right? And there are plenty of candidates that I can choose from. There are also not so good candidates that don't really fit that position quite well, and we're gonna take a look at those later, but that's the general idea. So everything starts with our actor, and let's actually take a look how the actor actually works. So here's our Apify account, and the actor's name or title is LinkedIn Companies and Profile Bulk Scraper. It's created by Baby, and the name is LinkedIn Premium Actor basically. It consists of the following things. You can choose if you want to get a profile or you can get a company. You can provide a certain query. So you can search by HR experts, HR specialists, etc. Or you can also provide certain links. If you think those candidates are potentially a good fit, you may provide a direct URL. And this model would actually scrape the URL of those candidates. They will find the profile and scrape that data from the profile. And also you can provide location if that's difficult. For example, I'm looking for position on site, not a remote option. So I would choose a location here. In my case, for example, it's going to be Latvia, right? So this is what actor does. And it's kind of pretty simple. If we look at the JSON structure for the input, it has the action. It's going to be either get profiles or get companies, is name. So if we have a specific name of a candidate we want to search for, we can set this Boolean variable to true, and in the keywords in our query, input the direct name of the candidate we're looking for. Another option is using isURL. If we're looking to input certain URLs, we can set this Boolean variable to true, and in the keywords basically input the direct link of a candidate. In my case, I don't have a particular candidate, and I'm imagining a situation where I'm a business leader or a headhunting expert, and I'm looking to fill in the position for HR specialist, and in my case, HR assistant for a certain company. I don't have an option to call a specific candidate, so I'll be opening LinkedIn and literally scrolling through the candidates what we have by certain query or certain keyword. In my case, that query is going to be HR specialist. So imagine if you would be opening a LinkedIn profile and you would go with something like HR specialist, right? So in that case, it will show you a few people here, show you posts, etc. And what we are looking at and how the query actually works is it has this certain query for the search bar, and it also has, in my case, a certain query for the location. In this case, I need to find all filters and I need to add a location set to Latvia. So and then I rerun it. And basically, this is what I get on LinkedIn. And what I would need to do, I would need to go and check each candidate manually and see if they're employed, if what's their experience, if that's a good fit. And that would take a lot of time, specifically if you would be searching for candidates and those are not potentially the best fit for my client that you're looking to fill in the position for. What essentially the sector does, it does this analysis for me. It scrapes that information of each candidate and then it's gonna run the scoring, which candidate is better than other, right? So let's see how that works. So in my case, I was limiting this to 50 candidates, right? So I wanna find 50 candidates by this query. For the sake of example, we're probably gonna let's do 5 and let's try another query. Let's do HR assistant. Let's do HR assistant since we're looking for HR assistant. This would take some time, but I will speed it up when the model is gonna run. And we set the location to Latvia. So essentially what happens now, this data is passed to our Apify actor and it's gonna run an actor. So the next block is a really kind of a error handling block, if you can call it. So essentially here, when you put the run synchronously, it will wait until this actor has finished run. Well, the problem is if this actor hasn't finished its run and this actor has started its run already, it will not be able to export the latest run dataset items. Basically, all the time when this actor finishes, it updates the dataset items and this actor grabs the dataset items from an actor. However, if this hasn't finished yet, this one will get the previous run's dataset items. So I really set this kind of variable sleep to wait for a few seconds to make sure that the previous actor has finished its operation, has updated all the dataset items, and this actor can grab the latest information from that. So essentially what this one is I pass a dataset ID for the specific actor. The format for that is going to be JSON, and I don't really need to set anything else up. It's pretty straightforward. So next what's going to happen is actually this automation looks pretty simple and straightforward, but the prompting here is not really that easy. And now we're going to see why. So watch me. I'm trying to open my ChatGPT module and how much time does it take for it to open. So this model is the one that is responsible for transforming data from the data set that we just scraped to variables so that I can use them later for the ChatGPT and also for my database in Excel. So let's take a look. We're using a mini model. We're passing first name, last name, headline, about, experience, and here we have a lot of variables that we're passing through. And the reason for that is the way I receive this data is basically an array or a collection. So let's take a look. For example, here, in my case, experience is an array of values, and such thing as description, for example, it has another array with the name child. So I might have many experiences in my account. For example, in that case, I have entered up to 7 different experiences. If I set only the first one, then it will take only the first experience it's actually scraped from the internet. But in my case, I wanted to scrape all the experiences the candidate has so that we take more information into account. And that's why I need, since it's an array of function, I need basically to list each value, kind of experience value, in a way that the candidate has so that we can access that information. And as you can see here, somewhere, for example, it doesn't have a subtitle or a title or a caption, and that's totally fine, because for some experiences you will have that, for some you won't, and that's totally okay. And I want to have 7 experiences like this. And then what we have is education, and same goes with education. We have a subtitle, title, and caption for our education. And then we can have, I put there up to 4 different instances for education. You can, on your LinkedIn, you can put as many as you want, but I will take care for 4 in my case, right? You can do it for more. It would just be longer for operations, but it should be fine for the computing. Then the same goes to languages, how many languages person speaks, licenses and certifications, when person received a license, what kind of license, projects and volunteering. I didn't have such instances, but those will be also raised, and you would probably need to do those like this. Since I didn't have them for my, actually I scraped 44 candidates. I didn't have any candidate that would have this. It might be the case that this actor failed to scrape this information, or candidates really didn't have any volunteering or project experience that they put on their LinkedIn profile. It doesn't matter. But since I didn't have this data, I didn't really have an array to choose from exactly what's going to be the road, for example, like here. And that's why I would just leave it as it is. And then we've got courses, right? If a person didn't have any courses, so list the title, what kind of course is that? And then we have publications, right? So if a person has a publication or not. As for the prompt, so this is the information we're going to pass to our model, and here we don't use any assistance. This is just to get the structured data, and the way I'm gonna be getting this data is a JSON format. So our prompt is pretty simple. Your advanced data parser, your job is to identify the data and parse it into JSON. And here we pretty much specify each variable. So the name is going to be text, the last name is going to be another text, then we got the headline text, and then we go with, for example, experience is going to be array of text, array of numbers, we go with education, and etc, etc. We set this for each variable, and as you can see, setting these variables takes some time. So not just quick and easy plug in, but it allows us to use this information later on. This is very important, because otherwise, if you're going to be asking a ChatGPT to give you a certain answer, it will output it as a text. And what you can do with this text, I don't know, you can't use specific variables from that text. But if you specify it in the following way, then you will be able to extract certain things from the response. It is important to know that this is not the newest GPT-4o model structured outputs. As it was mentioned on their website, on the blog, that this model will have structured outputs and it can achieve 100% exact results with specific query. For this one, you need to have structured outputs, you need to have the strict variable be equal to true. And this goes for a function to report to you the output as a JSON schema, following the JSON schema, basically in the JSON format. If you have it equal to false, or at least you have it in your code, this would provide you with 93% of outputs in the JSON format, and with prompting alone, you can achieve out to 85%. So in my case, I will be aiming for this 85% because I'm using low-code or no-code solutions like make.com. And as far as I check, they don't have this module yet incorporated into the system. The way I know it, because I can go and you can check it actually. We can go to export blueprint and we can check what kind of information those modules contain and if they contain the strict variable equal to true. Because whenever I was selecting transform text to structured data, I thought this is what the newest model is, but it's actually not. So here we have the code basically in the JSON format for the whole process. In my case, we can see, for example, here is the ID module equal to 3. So the third module in my case is going to be the tools, and I need to find the 5th module to see if that's really the case. So this is ID 2 and here's ID 5. So this is our module when we transform the text from the GPT, basically the text from or response from Apify to structured data. And what happens is we can see our response and we have all the different parameters that we specified here. We have metadata, we have metadata that we just provided, we have parameters. We have expect output that we want to receive from the GPT, and this is basically show the way we are looking to get the answer, the interface, how it's gonna look, and that's it. So even if I go by strict to find that variable, if it has it, it doesn't have strict variable, which means that it will not call any function here, and it will not trigger to output you certain thing as a JSON schema. But as the results show, with prompting alone, you can do quite a lot. In 85%, it achieves those results. And in my case, since it has a specific module and it prompts it in a specific way, I was able to achieve it in all of the cases that I run. So this might be enough for you to do this automation, even without using the newest structured output function. All right, as we have defined the variables, we go to message an assistant. Now let's take a look what the prompting is here. So we pass as a message the first name, last name, and a lot of other information, languages, licenses, etc., etc. As a message, we choose the mini model just to make it a little cheaper. Here I use file search and code interpreter. I have this one already selected in my OpenAI playground, but just in case, I double it here, and here is my file, sample job description. So this is the file I wanted to access to refer when it's gonna provide me scoring an answer whether this candidate is good fit or not. So let's take a look how this assistant, so it's a professional headhunter assistant. Let's take a look how this one works. So this is my assistant here. It uses the latest model here, but since I selected the mini model in make.com, it should override these instructions and choose the mini model. It has a file search, and again, my file that I have uploaded is sample job description that we have seen here. And I prompted to use that file as a reference because I'm searching candidates for this position. So here I don't have any functions, as you see. And we set the temperature and top P parameters as a little bit lower just to avoid random outputs. We want it to be quite precise and follow the prompt. So here's the prompt, and again, the prompt is probably a bigger one, but the idea is pretty much similar that we had in the last video, how AI transforms HR. So we prompted a role to be a professional headhunter. We give it a context that it have the job description, it has candidates from LinkedIn, and you need to run this prompt on each candidate and score them. We've got the screening and evaluations, strengths, weaknesses, risks, and opportunities. We've got the specifics for scoring, so experience and skill match, educational background, etc., etc. Then it identifies all the variables, creates a brief summary, and here are a couple of examples and notes for our assistant. So essentially kind of detailed instructions how ChatGPT assistant should follow this prompt so that it actually evaluates the candidate the way we need to evaluate. So then what happens is, as you've seen, we receive strengths, weaknesses, risks, opportunities, and a brief summary from each candidate, and we also receive a overall score. So what I want to do is I want to take the output from my GPT response in the last module, and I want to transform it to variables. Essentially, I want to get this data so that later on I can input this data here. Otherwise, again, I would receive text file from GPT that I can't extract specific data from. I wanted to parse and create specific variables for each section. In my case, those sections are score, it's a number, weaknesses, risk, and opportunities. And there is also a summary, right? So I create a variable for each. And then in Excel, it's pretty simple. I select my Excel file and I link all those things. And also for experience, if a person have broader experience, more than one role, right? I wanted to list all the experience a person has, all the education, and all the languages. For the rest, I would use just a basic structure. And if you're interested, you can go and search that person on LinkedIn. So that's how it works. And let's actually see. So in that case, we will be searching for HR assistant, and we'll be getting profiles. We limit to five people that we're going to scrape from LinkedIn from Latvia. So let's actually see how that works. So we run an actor, and we can go to our actor, and we want to take a look at our run here. So it actually works right here. It's actually looking for each candidate, and it should be outputting to us 5 candidates essentially. Let's take a look. So it found 5 different candidates on LinkedIn. So it slept for 4 seconds and then it got dataset items, and then we see each candidate will be reported back as a bundle of different items. So in this case, our ChatGPT has created a bundle and was able to create 2 variables. Actually, more than 2 variables: experience, education, first name, last name, and headline. Unfortunately, we didn't get any variables on person's certificates and licenses or, projects or volunteering experiences. It might be because of 2 cases. First of all, the person doesn't have that experience on their LinkedIn profile. And second, it just failed to scrape it. And unfortunately, this is judged by my experience. Sometimes I found that it fails to scrape some of the information. Even if the candidate does have this experience, it might fail it to scrape. But sometimes it happens that this candidate just doesn't have it. Let's actually take a look. So we've run through 2 candidates, and I will stop there and return back when we finish with this process. All right, and now we're back. The process has finished successfully. We've got 5 entries in our Excel file. Let's actually take a look. So we've got 5 candidates and we can see which candidates are there. For example, we have Maria Evtaurinya. So if we go to our Excel file, after the 44 candidates that I've run through before, we have the latest ones added in the bottom here. So Maria Evita, for example, the score for Maria to apply for this position is 70, and it says Maria has a strong background in HR with extensive experience in talent acquisition and leadership. However, qualification may not align perfectly with the administrative focus of the HR assistant position. While she brings valuable insights and a global perspective, her lack of specific administrative experience and certifications may hinder her for this role. Overall, she could be a good fit for a more senior position rather than an entry-level HR assistant. So that's a honest feedback, and I really like that. For example, if we look at the strengths, extensive HR experience over 17 years, lack of administrative experience, overqualification as the potential risk. But this candidate might not be interested for this role, adaptation to role, transitioning from senior to junior. And the next one is opportunities. So Maria could provide a valuable mentorship. She has a global perspective. Here we have all the experience, all the education. Unfortunately, we don't have languages provided. We've got the next one was Elena, Savitha, Katrina, Yelena. So all of the candidates are actually here, and we can see how well all the candidates fits the position. And then what we can do is, again, we can score the candidates from the largest to smallest to see which candidates fit our position the most in the very beginning, and start writing to these people, right? And start approaching these people, and maybe they will be interested in a career shift. Of course, it depends on how good your offering is, but at least you don't need to manually go through each profile, find exact candidates. It's already done for you. This automation that I just did costed me less than a cent with the newest mini model. If you wanted to be a little bit more advanced, you can use 4.0 and you would pay probably a few cents. But you can run this process for hundreds of candidates, literally as many as you wish. And that way you will receive a full database of HR experts, and then you can work with it, not only for this position in particular, but you can use it later on for any purpose. Imagine how skillful those headhunting experts can potentially become if they use this relatively simple automation. So you will be able to outsource most of the processes. And in my opinion, such a field as HR can be really automated. Let's be politically correct to a significant amount. In that way, HRs that are left with the functions to be filled in are managing the process, understanding the strategy of that, managing those agents, especially in headhunting, right? The best headhunters will have a skill of, if they personally know really good candidates in certain positions to fill in, or they have personal connections to reach out. Because if a headhunter is going to research LinkedIn, there is an alternative option that I just showed you that's going to do it much, much better than anybody else can. So to recap, using AI for headhunting in 2024 is a game-changing strategy. From scraping data from LinkedIn to deep candidate analysis, AI helps you uncover top talent by evaluating their education, background, and qualifications. It gives you a powerful edge, highlighting both strengths and areas for growth in potential candidates. all in a fraction of the time. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on the latest strategies in recruitment and AI innovation. And hey, let me know in the comments, how do you think AI will change the future of hiring? I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're interested in diving deeper into AI's role in HR, check out my video on how AI transforms HR. It's packed with actionable tips and case studies that you won't want to miss. Thanks so much for watching. I'm excited to see you back here in the next video. Until then, happy headhunting and stay ahead of the curve.